Hello everyone, my name is Patrick Benedict, a student at University of Dar es Salaam. I'm schooling Bachelor of Science in Microbiology. I am affirmative team, a representative from affirmative team, group number 11, and I am here to present about the topic which is that should the government prioritize the funding genetic research to develop climate resilient crops or other agricultural innovation. First of all, we should understand the key concept in genetic in our topic. That the first one is genetic research, which is the scientific method which involves the modification of particular trait of the organism at the DNA level, whereby, based on our topic, it's developed through the resilient crops. That means it is going to be developed through the plant. Therefore, when we are speaking of plant, that means we are going to modify a particular DNA trait at the DNA level, particular gene of the DNA at the DNA level. Other agricultural innovation, this involves the other methods that are used in agriculture for the purpose of producing a good product or a high amount of product. Therefore, the example of this agricultural innovation include the irrigation system, which not only depend on the rainfall, but also include the use of food pests, not only depend on the organisms like biocontrols and other stuffs. Uh, this climate change has been a threat to the global food security through various conditions such as drought, heat stress, and the use of pests and the decline of soil fertility. Therefore, due to this, we need this genetic research. Why do we need it? Because it is going to solve all of the problems that we are mentioned about, whereby we are going to modify the DNA plant through the either insertion or move of the particular gene or the addition of particular sequence so that to make the plant to resist or to sustain all the environmental conditions that are. And it should be noted that this modification of the genetic research is going to be inherited from one year to another. It's not one-time event. Therefore, opening statement is the genetic research encompasses the tools like types, gene editing. This is the biotechnological tool or biotechnological method of the gene editing, whereby it involves either cutting or addition of a particular gene so that to make this climate resilient crops endure the extreme condition, the use of during the resources scarcity for the purpose of uh, boosting the production during the harsh condition. And it should be noted that the government to invest in genetic research, it does not mean that it ignores other agricultural innovation, but instead, this genetic research lies at the foundation for other agricultural innovation. Therefore, due to the investigation that has been done, it has been discovered that almost 40% of crops are lost annually due to climate variability. Therefore, in order to reduce this amount of crops that are lost to our contemporary society, particularly in East Africa, we need this employment, we need this integration of genetic research so as to develop these climate resilient crops. Therefore, to our constructive argument, the first argument is that the climate resilient crops lies at the foundation of the food security. Why it lies at the foundation of the food security? Because we are sure of receiving the now, for instance, the WEMA, the WEMA project, which is water efficient maize for Africa project, which was funded by the United States government and also supported by the African nation include Tanzania since in 2010, and it has also been expanded up to 2026. It uses the genetic breeding to create drought-tolerant maize, which has been used as a source of food in various areas of the dry region of Tanzania, like Dodoma. The second constructive argument is the genetic research provides long-term scalable solution. As how I introduced earlier, that we know that the genetic materials are inherited as one generation to another. Therefore, establishment of this climate resilient source is not one-time event like irrigation or other agricultural innovation, but it will be inherited from one generation to another. It is going not only to be used by the current generation, but also going to be used by the future generation. The method like types editing rice, which was developed by the Chinese government, it has also helped the production of rice up, up to 30% over the decades. In Tanzania, similar scalable technology has also been used, like Orphan Globes Consortium, which was funded by the European nation, the African government. It has distributed the Iran sorghum seed up to 500,000 farmers since 2020, providing long-term uh, stability. Um, the third constructive that supports farmers, especially um, there are some of the regions whereby they are using high amount of the pesticide so that to fight against this insect that attack the crops. Therefore, example the BT cotton project was funded by the Indian government that was adopted by the African government in 2005. It has helped with cutting down the use of pests, which has increased the profit to farmers, but also reduce the health risk of this. The fourth constructive argument is the enhancement of the effectiveness of other agricultural innovations. That's how I introduce areas that using of the using of the genetic research in the development of climate resistant crops, it does not prevent the government to fund other agricultural innovations. For instance, this flood tolerant rice, which was adopted in Africa by 2005, but it was developed by the US and Philippines government. It has helped with this farmers in Tanzania, which which has helped them using smart water system to increase up to 40% of the product during this flood. Since this rice tolerant, this flood tolerant rice, they are able to tolerate uh, the problem of flood, providing the food security, but also reducing the cost effectiveness of this agricultural system. Um, but also it promotes the economic stability. This is the point constructive argument that it promotes the economic stability and reduce risk. In our contemporary African society, it's known that some of the people who are living in the dry areas, they tend to move during the time where they face the scarcity of food or scarcity of water, so that find the new area where they can cultivate their crops and also uh, feeding the now it has been found that there has been a long-term conflict between this whether the animal keeper or the farmers when they migrate to the other area and they find the indigenous people of that area they've been competing for them they've been places to put their products. Therefore, introduction of this genetically climate resilient crops it will help the farmers who are living in dry areas, for instance, in places like places like places like Singida, places like Dodoma, but also some of the places in Ethiopia. It will help. It will prevent the movement of the farmers. The original place, the new areas, to look for areas, getting their crops, but also feeding the area. On the other hand, it is going to reduce costs. So how it has been estimated that by year 2050, globally, it will save 1 to 2 US dollar um, after the establishment or development of this climate resilient crops, because a lot of money has been invested in employment of other agricultural professions like the use of nets, use of irrigation system. Therefore, this huge amount of money is going to either to the end of the government, and I'm going to pass through the, our first point. The first point is that the climate law is sticky, but research it is slow. I want to remind them that not only the genetic research, but also these other agricultural innovation require from establishment, but also um, they also require a lot of time to be developed. Uh, we agree that this climate change is urgent, but also it's exactly why the research must be prioritized and not abandoned. The genetic research does not stop other innovation, but it strengthens them. But therefore, the government shouldn't only focus on other agricultural innovation, but provide the genetic research as the foundation to develop, but as the foundation to integrate other agricultural innovation. So their second point, they said that the genetic solution fails and it should be noted that all agricultural methods face the environment and ability, not only the genetic research. Also, the adaptation to the local environment uh, not fit for all solutions. Therefore, this uh, this genetically modified organism, they are developed to tackle all of the conditions, various. But also they spoke about the project of Golden Light. It was a project that was initiated for, just for nutrition and not for designed to solve the climate space like drought. The genetic engineering say increase quality of farm and the farm mistakes. It should be noted that the African government has funded the use of fertilizer in the irrigation, which has cost a lot of money to fund them, but also other agricultural innovation has also been used a lot of money, and therefore the funding in genetic research for the production of crops such crops is going to be a long-term solution to this money that is lost by the government to fund this other agricultural innovation. But also the thing to their third point that they spoke of, single site engineering fail use should resilience. Um, it should be noted that genetic modified crops is only focused on, but the modern genetic engineering researches it has focused on tackling a lot of problems. That means it is going to solve not only the single problem that solved for it is the other one, but it's going to solve all the problems. So the closing statement, climate change threatens the foundation of agriculture. Without the plant crops, no innovation can succeed. By prioritizing the genetic research, the government effectively security, support farmers, and build a sustainable agriculture future, making the affirmative position the more effective and the responsible choice. Therefore, encourage the African government for investment in the development of crop, peasant crops rather than other agricultural innovation. It should be noted that this other agricultural innovation comes from this genetic uh, genetic research